Manifesting is an art, and the art of manifestation has a process. So you don't just wake up and start manifesting things. There are people who just manifest effortlessly and consciously. And then there are people who have to learn this process. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the first law of manifestation, or what I like to call the first law of creation. So stay tuned and let's begin with it. Now, for most people, manifestation is now something which is becoming so much popular, and people wonder how is it that they can manifest. But the question is, why would you even want to listen to me in the first place? Now let me tell you my story before I begin with the process of how you can manifest. Now, a year ago, I decided I wanted to pursue my desires. I decided I wanted to follow my dream and actually do whatever I love. And what is that? I love coaching people in these kinds of videos, these kinds of topics. I just love sharing these kinds of knowledge, self-improvement, philosophy, and these spirituality concepts. But one thing that really fascinated me is this concept of manifesting. Because about manifesting, it's very exciting when you learn that you have the power, you have the ability to really create the kind of reality or create whatever it is that you desire to have and own and have it. And that was really fascinating to me. So that led me into a rabbit hole of trying to figure out how can I manifest. I tried so many things, affirmations, vision boards, so much and so forth, up until I learned the actual process of manifesting. At the time, my goal was to manifest shooting equipment, a good digital camera, a way of editing, and simply just bringing out high, good and quality content. But I had no finances to actually purchase these things. So I decided this is what I'm going to manifest. Okay, and when I did that, I was kind of a newbie in the realm or in this field of manifesting. So I did everything which I could find up until I came to learn about this simple process. It involves four laws that you have to master in order for you to become good at manifesting. And in this video, I'll be sharing with you the first law. And if you didn't guess already, I have already manifested my desire of having or owning good quality shooting gear and equipment. So let's begin with the first law of reality creation, which is none other but the law of awareness. Now, most people don't really understand how important is the law of awareness, because the law of awareness is the hallmark, is the foundation of all the teachings about spirituality and understanding the world and simply understanding who you really are. Now, why is the law of awareness important, or what is the law of awareness? Now, the law of awareness is simply indicates you need to be at present or in the present moment with your thoughts, with your feelings, and your state of being. In simple terms, the law of awareness simply states that you have to be, or you have to know, or to be aware of your current state of being, because your current state of being is what leads you to manifest whatever it is that you have at this present moment. And for most people, they don't know their state of being. What is your state of being? Your state of being is characterized by what you think about most of the time, what you feel most of the time, and how you act most of the time. So how you think, how you feel, and how you act ends up creating what we call your state of being. And your state of being simply becomes mirrored, or reality mirrors your state of being, and then it displays something similar or similar to whatever it is that you are displaying. This is what we call the mirror principle, whereby reality acts. Reality acts as a mirror, and it mirrors your internal state, which is what you think most of the time, what you feel, and how you act. So the law of awareness simply states that you've got to be aware of these three things. And once you are aware of three things, this means that you now understand the cause of what you are experiencing, because the higher planes, the internal is the cause, the external, the physical, the tangible is the effect. So when you can know the cause of your effect, now you can change the cause. This means that you can start doing what we call the art of subconscious reprogramming, because this state of being is created since you were born, and this state of being creates what we call the ego. Now, the ego is a false image of who you think you are. Now, most of us carry this false image of who we think we are, and this image is formed based on our childhood upbringing and our personal experiences of life. So how we were raised up, how we came to understand life creates this ego or this state of being, whereby we believe some things to be true. We create some beliefs based on what you've been told by society, by our parents, and by our own experiences. So we formulate these kinds of beliefs about ourselves and about the world. In simple terms, we create this kind of identity of who we think we are. And that identity has its own mental convictions, has its own emotions, has its own beliefs. That identity places us at a box because, remember, reality simply mirrors the mind. So if in your mind or if internally you believe that you cannot achieve without struggle, you believe that some things are not yours to have, then reality mirrors that. And then what you attract or you resonate at, you attract what you resonate at. And that is why your state of being is very important. Now, this ego is formed unconsciously because you don't know that you are actually doing it. And most of us grow up or end up believing that this ego, this false version of who we think we are, is actually who we are. But this version is a limited version of you. And this version will only ensure that you obtain or have whatever it is that it is in the comfort zone of this kind of identity. So in order for you to move away from that state of being, of the ego, and simply come to your truest state, which is called enlightenment. Now, enlightenment is whereby you go back to your natural state of felt oneness with the God who is within. Now, each and every one of us has a spirit. The spirit is connected with the divine. And through that connection, we have the ability to become creators. Remember, God, the all, is the creator, is the creation. And simply, we are gods having the experience in these human bodies. It's simply like the creation is simply experiencing itself. Okay? So when you become enlightened, means that you have dissolved the ego. Now, you don't live in limitations. You don't live in a world that limits your own capabilities. You are completely free to grow, to give birth, and to simply expand. And that is why it's very important. So the goal is enlightenment. And that goal begins by awareness. But if you are not aware of what happens in the mind, it means that you are not actually living in the present moment. It means that you don't have the power to change the future. You don't have the power to influence whatever it is that you will experience. If you are always in your mind, meaning that you are stuck on this identity that you have at this present moment, you are completely limited. So what do? How do you become aware of this current state of consciousness? You become aware of it through what we call becoming the observer. Now, the observer is the experience of the reality. The observer is the actual you. And then, when you become the observer, instead of reacting, instead of now living the life as the body, you start observing the body. Most of us, we think that we are the body. Thinking you are the body, it's like limiting yourself in the game, okay? Now, when you think you are the body, it means that you have no power over what happens to you because you are the body. But when you understand that you are not the body, you are simply a spirit that has a body. The body is yours. You have the power to control the body. That is the same way you have the power to control your own reality. So when you go back to the observer mode, it's like now you are watching your own life. Now you don't react to it. You don't become mad at it. You just start watching your life. And then when you watch your life, you will find out that you have been holding on subconscious reactions. You've been doing things that are unconscious. They just happen to you because the more you do things, the more you think about the same things, they stack up and they form habits. And the more you do something, the more the more the mind learns how to do it effortlessly or automatically. So you don't have to think about what you thought about yesterday. It simply comes. You don't have to think about doing certain things. You simply find yourself doing them. So the law of awareness enables you to go back to that observer mode so that you can start observing your life, start observing the mind. Because when you start observing the mind, you now enter into the present moment. Remember, the only way to change your life is in the present moment, not in the past, because you can never go and change the past, not in the future, because you cannot or you don't have the capabilities of going to the future. It is only in the present moment that you have the power to change your entire course of life. Why? Because what you call the future will unfold in the present moment. And whatever you call the past is just a present moment that is actually fading away and moving into the past. So being in the present moment allows you to bridge the gap, to cut the mental stream of thoughts, so that you can actually be in the present moment. Because the less you think, the more it is easier for you to raise your level of vibration. The less you think, the more easier it is for you to raise your level of vibration. So by observing the mind, it simply means that you practice the art of asking yourself, what am I thinking? Or simply being aware when a thought pops up into your mind. So let's say you are watching this video, then suddenly something pops up into your mind, a thought. When that thought simply pops up into your mind, it is your job as the observer to be aware that, oh, so I am thinking about so and so. That is what we call observing the mind. When you become aware that you are thinking about something and something, okay? So that is what we call observing the mind. Now, when you do that, the mental stream of thought will stop because you will be aware of it. Then after a while, after you go back to doing whatever you are doing, the same thing will happen. A thought will pop up into your mind. Then it is also still your job to become aware of whatever it is you are thinking. Now, this is a process that you want to repeat often and often and often. And I'm simply not talking about thoughts alone. This goes beyond into the feeling, the emotions which you have. At some periods of time, you will find yourself thinking about or feeling a specific kind of way, a certain kind of way. Remember that thoughts and emotions are linked. A thought can lead to an emotion, but also an emotion can lead to a thought. So sometimes you might find that your mind is just free, but you are feeling some kind of way. Now it's upon you to go in your body and inhabit it and completely allow yourself to feel this emotion. I did not say this, but according to the book Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, we have this voice in our head. Now, to observe the mind simply means to listen to that voice. There is this voice in our head that keeps on talking. Sometimes it compliments, sometimes it loves, sometimes it hates, sometimes there are dialogues, sometimes it has monologues, that voice in our heads. And that voice is what we call thinking. So you have to listen to it, or in other words, observe it. When you observe it, you will know that you are thinking about something. Or when you inhabit the body to completely feel whatever you are feeling, that is simply being in the present moment. Now, when a thought pops up into your mind, let's say it's a negative thought, something that you don't really want to be thinking about. Now, don't condemn the thought. Don't judge the thought, because judgment is simply the ego. The ego has its limitations. The ego has things which it says you have to do this, you don't have to do this. So don't judge the thought. Don't label the thought. Just acknowledge it as a thought. Allow it to be, and then just proceed with your day. Now, when the more you do this, you will gain an understanding about yourself. You will come to understand what you mainly think about most of the time, what you feel most of the time. And as you do this, you begin to rewire the brain. Now, when you rewire the brain, you are firing up new neurons. You are firing up new neurons in the body or in the brain. And these new neurons in the brain begin to rewire your brain in the form whereby you stop thinking about these things, because now you're being aware of them. When you bring awareness into your life, it's like bringing light into the dark room, because awareness is what brings light into the dark room. Just imagine you are a king, but you're unaware that you are a king. Then this means that you are powerless. When you are powerful, but you are unaware of your own power, it means you are powerless. But when you bring awareness, awareness is like a light. It's like it gives you the clue to make you know that this is who you are. So that is simply how you practice the law of awareness. But on a deeper level, you can also practice this law as mindfulness and meditation, because mindfulness is simply the act of being present in the moment of whatever you are doing. It's completely paying attention to what you are doing. And when you're completely attentive to what you are doing, you will note that things will pop up into your mind. You will know they have popped up into your mind to remove you from what you are doing. Then you make a conscious effort of going back to whatever it is that you are doing. That is what we call mindfulness. And meditation is simply focusing single-handedly on one thing. Maybe it could be breathing, maybe it could be counting. And when something pops up into your mind, what you do, you become aware of it and you enter back into the present moment. So the more you practice the law of awareness, that means that now you are ready for the second law of reality creation. but that is for the next video. If you found benefit from this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and also we do only the email is on the description of this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay awakened.